Lena had always struggled with learning English. She was born in a small village where her first language was spoken in her home, and English felt like a distant foreign world. No matter how hard she tried, the words seemed to slip away like water through her fingers. She would stare at the pages of her textbook, the long lists of vocabulary words and tricky tenses making her feel overwhelmed. Grammar confused her, pronunciation embarrassed her, and every conversation felt like a challenge. One chilly autumn afternoon, Lena sat alone in the school library. She had just returned from another discouraging English class where the teacher had pointed out a simple mistake she'd made on her homework. "It's isn't she don't, it's doesn't," her teacher had gently corrected. Lena had flushed with embarrassment and quietly promised herself she'd never speak English in class again. Her books felt heavy on the desk in front of her, and she was ready to give up. But just as she was about to pack up, something caught her eye, a small note tucked between the pages of an old English grammar book. It wasn't her book, and she wasn't sure who had left it there. The note simply read, "Mistakes are proof that you are learning. Keep going." Lena's heart skipped a beat. The note felt like a message just for her. She'd never looked at her mistakes that way. To her, every mistake was a sign that she wasn't good enough, that she would never succeed. But this note changed her thinking. That evening, as Lena sat at her desk, she decided to try something different. She opened her English workbook, took a deep breath, and started reading out loud. The words felt foreign in her mouth, but she didn't stop. Each time she stumbled, she would smile and try again. She thought about the note, "Mistakes are proof that you are learning." A few days later, Lena was walking through the school corridor when she overheard a group of students chatting in English. They were laughing and sharing stories. One of them noticed Lena standing nearby and smiled at her. "Hey, you're Lena, right? You're really good at math." Lena smiled shyly. Yeah, thanks." The girl continued, "But you never talk much in English class. Why's that?" Lena's face turned red. She was about to explain how she was too scared of making mistakes, but then she remembered the note. She decided to try something. "Actually," Lena said, her voice a little shaky, "I've been practicing my English. I'm still learning, but I'm trying not to worry about making mistakes." The girl nodded thoughtfully. "That's a great attitude. English is a tough language, but you just have to keep trying. Don't be afraid to mess up." Lena felt a spark of hope. Maybe the note wasn't just words on paper. Maybe it was true. The following week, Lena joined the school's English club, even though her nerves were on edge. It was her first time participating, and she was afraid her mistakes would make her look foolish. But when she arrived at the club meeting, the students were friendly, and they made her feel welcome. She introduced herself in English, and though her pronunciation wasn't perfect, no one laughed or judged her. Instead, they encouraged her to keep going. Lena decided to take part in a group presentation about a book they had all read. She was nervous but also excited. When it was her turn to speak, her hands trembled. But she remembered the note, took a deep breath, and spoke slowly, carefully. She made a couple of mistakes, but the group cheered her on and said she was doing great. One day, Lena decided to take her practice to the next level. She began writing short stories in English, sometimes even using Google Translate to help with unfamiliar words. One of her stories, a simple tale about a girl overcoming her fears, was so heartfelt that her teacher read it aloud to the class. When Lena heard her own words spoken aloud, she felt a surge of pride. She wasn't perfect, but she was learning, and that was enough. Months passed, and Lena's confidence grew. One day, she stood in front of her English class, delivering a speech about her journey with the language. Her hands were steady, and her voice was clear. She still made a few mistakes, an occasional slip of tense or mispronounced word, but she spoke with such passion that no one cared about her errors. Afterward, a classmate came up to her and said, "Your speech was amazing. You inspire me to keep trying with my English." Lena smiled, grateful for the chance to inspire someone else. She realized that the message in that small note had made all the difference in her learning journey. And, inspired by her own story, she decided to leave a note for the next person who might need it. As she walked past the library one afternoon, she stopped and pulled a piece of paper from her bag. On it she wrote, "Mistakes are proof that you are learning. Keep going." She tucked the note into the pages of a random book on the shelf and smiled. It was her turn to share the message that had helped her so much. And who knows, maybe it would be the note that changed everything for someone else. Moral of the story: sometimes a small message or encouragement is all it takes to inspire someone. Mistakes are part of the learning process, so never let fear of them stop you from trying. Keep practicing and remember, you are learning and growing every day.
Thank you so much for watching. For more videos like that, please subscribe my channel and tell me in the comment that which next topic do you want. Thank you.